listening to your brain on air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
አእምሮውን በአየር ላይ እያዳመጡ ነው። ፕሮግራሙ በቅርቡ ይጀምራል። ይደሰቱ።
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Your Brain on Air. I'm your host, Ollie Vogt Larson, and there is no stopping us now. We are on the move. The U.S. cannot be stopped. We're traveling at the speed of light and making supersonic booms out of girls' schools. We're having such a good time. We're having a ball. I'm not saying I'm happy about the girls' school. I'm saying it's, what do they call it? Collateral damage. We're going to keep up with the force, and we're not going to stop until we get enough. We are world building, if you don't know about this. We're clearing the Middle East of all powers that are capable of giving our buddy in the Middle East, our Israeli overlords, any trouble in the Holy Lands. Bibi and the 5 on 9/11 are not the only dancing Israelis right now, folks. And don't make this a Jews thing. Yes, I realize their religion might have elements of Kabbalistic death cultisms and whatnot, but so does Islam and so do many sects of Christianity, all right? This is purely a gripe with the nation-state of Israel, which, by the way, is staffed and managed by many secular individuals, if not demon worshippers. So, look, I am not the one who chose the Star of Remphan as my symbol for my religion. They did that. They took the star upon themselves, like in the 1600s, roughly. It's not my fault that the 6-pointed Star of David has 6 equilateral triangles on it, and it has a 6-sided hexagon in the middle. They did that. 666. I didn't make them pick such a suspicious symbol for their religion. Ladies and gentlemen, Israel has much of a reason to celebrate. Their main power grappler competitor has now been effectively decapitated. Even Donald Trump went, yeah, most of the people we had in mind are dead, and we had a few in mind from that one group, we killed them all, and most of them, we had another group, I think, and yeah, but they're dead too, right? Isn't that the thing, based on recent reports? So, yeah, we'll be seizing the oil, that's great, kind of good for them and whatever. It's, also for the first time, if you didn't know about this, the Defense Department, the United States, they're launching ground operations against drug cartels for the first time in South America. This is the first time that the United States has officially gone on a land operation against kingpins. We're in Ecuador. We're fighting against designated terrorist cells. That's how they're going to sell this to most of us. Let's take a look at this clip.
With the Defense Department now confirming the U.S. has carried out a land operation against drug cartels in South America.
Why not?
For the first time, the Defense Department posting this video on social media tonight, the U.S. and Ecuador launching joint military operations against what the Pentagon calls designated terrorist organizations.
That's very fun. Why not? We did Maduro. We did all, we're doing more operations. Honestly, if we're going to be, policing the world quite a bit more, if we're going to be reining everybody else in, if we're going to be playing dad to the rest of the world, why not? Let's just do it with the entirety of the world. We are unstoppable. We're balling. It's our 250th. We're having fun. And honestly, hopefully we just don't lose too many young men and women. Crazy how we say young men and women. Women didn't go for the longest time, but technically they still don't have to if a draft ever does get brought back, but whatever. Still fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so much news that we can cover today. We're going to get right into it with our updates into the war with Iran, so why don't we just go right into that? Go! Iran plans to retaliate with everything that it has. Iranian women inside the country are attempting displays against repression. More from the latest. Folks, escalating, is that the right way to use that word here? Or dramatic? Iran vowing to fight back fiercely against ongoing U.S. and Israeli military strikes. Iranian officials, if you don't know, they've made it clear, Tehran, they are ready to retaliate using the full extent of its military capabilities, with some reports describing it, quote, as everything it has. It comes as widening war is now entering its 6th day, where the United States and Israeli forces are targeting key sites in Iran, including military installations, leadership compounds. In response, Iran has launched waves of missiles and drones, not just at Israel, but across the Gulf nations, hitting U.S. bases in places like Qatar and Bahrain, very interesting, as well as energy facilities and infrastructure in neighboring countries. Strikes have caused casualties on multiple sides, disrupted global air travel, and raised raised alarms about threats to critical shipping routes like the Strait of Hormuz. They actually are willing to cut that. The Iranian governments themselves, we're actually going to cover a clip about this later, about how they have cut most of the shipments of oil in that region. They are willing to slit their own throat, essentially, and they're willing to die as a nation. They're willing to make themselves weaker in the current in the meantime, if it means that overall the rest of the world will be hurt by this action. I know, that's like a very suicidal action. Anyways, we have this clip. We're gonna get right into it. Why not? We need to talk about actual news. Go.
Donald Trump has admitted America's attack on Iran isn't going to plan as more US assets come under attack.
That's one way to say it.
Hundreds of Aussies are heading home on the first flight out of the Middle East since the war began.
They're fleeing Dubai, where America's consulate has been bombed.
While President Trump insists Iran's Navy and Air Force have been knocked out, he
out.
says he's surprised at Tehran's response.
Really?
Under fire, Iran hits America's consulate in Dubai and targets another in Jordan. This war
Duck and cover. Get away from the windows. I love dystopian voices coming over speakers. That's just one of my favorite aesthetics. That and like mysterious. It's like an Indiana Jones movie. There's like a cart with newspapers flying out the back. That's another fun aesthetic.
playing out the way the man who pulled the trigger thought it would.
Amazingly, they're hitting countries that were, let's call them neutral, right? They lived together for a long time. I think they were surprised. I was surprised.
America is still boasting of its successes, though, knocking out 1,700 Iranian targets. This is the view of an Israeli pilot as Iranian soldiers flee before impact.
Shit.
Israel claims to have hit the headquarters of the Assembly of Experts in the Iranian city of Qom, where
They were hiding in that girls' school.
a new supreme leader was to be chosen. Ali Khamenei's son, Mojtaba, said to be the leading contender.
Mojtaba.
The US says all 17 ships of Iran's navy are gone.
They have no Navy. It's been knocked out. They have no Air Force. It's been knocked out. They have no air detection. That's been knocked out. Their radar has been knocked out.
That's true. That's good.
And just about everything's been knocked out.
Am I saying that I'm happy about the war with Iran? No, but I'm saying if we're going to be going to war, I'm glad we're annihilating them. I'm glad that if we're in a war, we're winning. I mean, you want to be in a losing war? At the very least, I'm not saying I am endorsing the war, but if we're in a war, I'd rather be winning.
Iran showing it still has the power to fight. Tehran releasing this video, showing off an arsenal of drones and missiles still capable of striking neighbours.
The process that has begun will soon reach Europe if countries think that they can sit safely in a corner until this conflict ends and then take a share of it. They are gravely mistaken. The fire of this war is highly contagious and will engulf the entire world.
While cautious,
Like to
some
see
of
you try,
America's
bitch.
traditional allies are preparing for a wider war. Greece is sending 2 frigates, France deploying an aircraft carrier group, 2 more frigates to the eastern Mediterranean. From the UK, HMS Dragon, its most advanced destroyer, due in Cyprus in a week. Qatar says it took down 2 Iranian fighter jets in its airspace and 98 ballistic missiles. British ground troops stationed in Iraq also downed drones. Its RAF jets already in the air, shooting down attack drones over Jordan and Qatar.
Wow.
Israel is fighting on a different front.
Lebanon. How fun.
Pummeling Beirut, targeting Iranian proxy Hezbollah. 40 are dead, 30,000 displaced. Among the
Because they made the mistake of living in land where terrorists are. So as a result, we need to blow the shit out of their homes as well. It's not my fault. It is not my fault that they decided to live among
those
terrorists.
killed, a key Iranian Special Forces commander hiding out. Israel's tanks now seen at the border with Lebanon, awaiting further instruction. So we're in the north of the country, and this is the Israel-Lebanon border.
Beautiful.
130 kilometers long with a 9-meter high, heavily fortified wall. We can't show you for security reasons.
What's the point of having such a big wall if we can't show it to you for security reasons? Isn't the point of a wall to be like to show the supremacy of your border? border to like, man, look at how strong and capable we are. Well, we can't show you the strength of our wall because it'll topple if you so much as look at it wrong.
But what makes this so significant isn't just the border incursion, but the first use of ground forces in this war. Israel insists this is not an invasion, just an incursion, creating a buffer zone to keep Hezbollah back. It hasn't worked yet. As we were there, a Hezbollah attack drone came flying over the border, forcing us into shelter. Great in TV. Famous in That is a serious hit. How far away do you think that was? Iron Dome missiles attempting to bring it down. It's unclear if they succeeded. Tonight, the first faces of American losses. 4 soldiers from Iowa killed in a drone attack in Kuwait. And these young girls, students at a primary school in southern Iraq, killed with their teachers in a targeting tragedy, 168 dead.
They built the girls' school they shouldn't have built the girls' school right where we were going to drop a bomb a couple hundred years later. That was their mistake. I'm sorry.
Child victims of adult actions.
Sucks.
Well, let's go live now to Chris Reason in Tel Aviv. And Chris, the Kurdish forces could spark an uprising.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you don't want that. Listen, Kurdistan is an idea that's been being kicked around for the longest time. Ever since they helped us out with a couple of wars, they've been kicking us in the fucking, kicking us under the table going, hey, can we get some level of independence? We've been helping you out all over the Middle East, and these knuckle draggers, quite frankly, would appreciate a country of their own. And I understand that. I can totally sympathize with that. Bottom of the barrel. It's back burner. You know what I mean? It's really not top of our agenda right now. No, thank you.
Rosanna, good evening. There are credible reports this evening that America's intelligence agency, the CIA, is in talks with Kurdish rebels in the north of this country with a view to giving them weapons, arms, and military equipment to try
Doesn't that sound like a great idea?
Revolutionary Guard. CNN reporting.
Want to arm the Middle East even more, you guys? We want to arm the Middle East as much as possible. Is that what the goal here is? We're gonna the Kurds. Let's formulate a revolution within this little diaspora community of a bunch of people who would like to establish a country of their own. Who's to say they're not going to take the weapons and go establish Kurdistan? That's my question.
Critics say this is a dangerous, highly contentious move, but intelligence sources saying that it may be the only way to achieve the essential objective of this war against the regime, to completely replace it. Will?
All right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Meanwhile, President Trump has been grilled by reporters at the White House over America's involvement in the Middle East.
Trump denies doing Israel's dirty work and says US troops had to strike first.
For the first time, Donald Trump taking questions on the war. Sorting out who went first at the press conference was one thing.
Not your turn.
Sorting out who went first in Iran, quite another.
Mr. President, did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran?
Yes.
I might have forced their hand. We were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first.
Once the president made a decision that negotiations were not going to work, the decision was made to strike them. That's what I said yesterday.
But it wasn't what he said yesterday at all, when the Secretary of State claimed the US only moved after Israel said it was going in.
We knew that would precipitate an attack against American forces, and we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
But Rubio and Trump are on the same page for this.
Let me explain to you guys this in simple English, okay? Iran is run by lunatics, religious fanatic lunatics.
Not wrong.
They're sick. It's terrible.
All of that, perhaps. But was Iran an imminent nuclear threat? From the White House,
Both the Iranian negotiators said to us
they have been an imminent nuclear threat. Literally, I've said this before, since before I was born. They're going to have a bomb next week since before the 2000s. It's crazy.
nuclear bombs.
but from the United Nations watchdog,
We never had information indicating that there was a structured, systematic program to construct a nuclear weapon.
Either way,
You weren't looking hard
says
enough.
Trump.
But I have never had more compliments on something I did.
The compliments today from ally Germany and its Chancellor Friedrich Merz.
Spending the night in your guest house.
While Spain is in the doghouse.
Very uncooperative. We're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain.
And while Germany is on board,
Get rid of this terrible terrorist regime.
it wants to know what's next.
And we have to talk about their strategy.
As others say the same.
I just left a classified briefing on Iran. It is so much worse than you thought. You are right to be worried.
I bet.
Today, what his worst-case scenario would be once this war is finally over. Donald Trump said it would be finding out that the regime change he's been pushing for hasn't worked.
Let's be so honest right now. This will go about as well as the Bay of Pigs invasion. Why do I use such a specific comparison? Because once again, like the Bay of Pigs invasion, the military had planned to arm Cuban friendlies, essentially to overthrow their own government. And the mistake that they had made was they had picked up a bunch of, fishermen, literally, like ordinary folks off of the Cuban mainland, and they handed them crates of all of these weapons. They met them on the shores. They were like, "We're gonna overthrow your government now." And they're like, "You realize that I work at the fish market. I'm not a skilled, I'm not a guerrilla warfare tactician or anything." You are relying on a few key distinct groups in Iran, and I'm going to make that very clear to many people here listening right now. Liberated men, which there are not very many. Many of these people are still devout Muslims, which many people don't want to talk about. Liberated women, which, let's be very clear about this. These are not liberated women in the sense where it's like, yes, maybe they want to go to school and whatnot. They want to throw off the hijab. They want to do all of that. In reality, what they want to do is they want to go to bars, they want to dance, and they want to get abortions like Western women. They've been hearing about that masterful, like, paradise, quite frankly, in books, in smuggled over, new American housewife clips and whatnot that they're able to catch with their pirated DVDs, all those sorts of things, which it's very few women who are reading books over there because, once again, they don't go to school over there. So that strikes down the population even more. So also you are relying on you need a fighting age population. These are people that are like between the ages of, let's be honest, 14, you can get a couple suicide bombers, you know what I mean? They look pretty the kids, they look trustworthy, so they'll let them into a crowd and whatnot. So, and I'm talking on, people are going to go, what are you talking about using children as combatants? This is how these people think. This is how Middle Easterners have thought about war for millennia, and if you're too stupid to realize that, I'm sorry, that's a reality check, whatever. What I'm trying to tell you is that we tried to say Iran, the populace inside of you that is not religious nuts that are gonna form your own clerisy that will become a theocracy and formulate a government and whatnot. We were relying on the 0.0001% of the population that was there fighting for democracy. It's not a democracy-interested nation, quite frankly, because their culture does not breed a craving for democracy. That's just a kind of a fact, by the way. That's just a fact. You look at the majority of Muslim-influenced nations, they are not, I'm sorry, it's true, they are not friendly to democracy by the facts that they believe that their holy books, their texts should be this is as though you wanted to go, God's word goes first, everything else is secondary. That is how these people truly think. Whatever, if you don't like it, don't move to those countries. That's it.
A new start, a new leader.
Do you have someone in mind right now?
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead.
In Washington, D.C., Rob Scott.
That's still one of my favorite clips, and I'm going to play out a little bit more of that. Here.
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group, they may be dead also, based on reports.
Based on reports.
So I guess you have a third wave coming in. Pretty soon we're not going to know anybody. But we have, Venezuela was so incredible because we did the attack and we kept government totally intact.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Delcy, who's been very good. We have the whole...
Yeah, it's sad that you guys couldn't do just a clean incursion this time.
And Adelaide petrol prices have spiked to $2 a litre, even before the cost of the
Petrol
war flows
prices? You're going to start complaining to me about petrol prices? Anyways, let's cover the Strait of Hormuz.
We now have final proof that Iran will retaliate with everything it has, and to hell with the consequences. Now that its new leaders have decided to close the Strait of Hormuz and set on fire any tanker that passes, they're not just blocking the route for 20% of the world's oil, they are cutting their own throats, because Iran depends on that waterway more than any other country. All of its oil exports go through the Strait of Hormuz. That's about 1.7 million barrels every day last year. But its new leaders no longer care about crippling their own economy. For the first time since Berlin in 1945, a country is being governed by men under a hail of bombs who know they might be killed at any moment. America and Israel have already dispatched Ayatollah Khamenei and a raft of his senior ministers and commanders. Mujtaba Khamenei, the son of the late Ayatollah, who may inherit the post of supreme leader, knows that he could be next. So does General Vahidi, the new commander of the Revolutionary Guard. His predecessor and the one before that were both killed, so they have no reason for restraint, let alone compromise. From their perspective, firing missiles at all their Gulf neighbors and shutting down the Strait of Hormuz is a rational response. They will be hoping that mayhem on the energy markets might force Donald Trump to call off his campaign.
It's not going to happen.
The only comfort is that they do not have a nuclear weapon.
Thankfully enough, because we absolutely wrecked them, destroyed them. This is unfortunate. Very sad. A sister is remembering the soldier, her brother, who was killed on this strike, unfortunately. This is a kid from Iowa. And I think it's important that I play this, quite frankly. I know that we're having a fun show. We're supposed to be haha jokey and whatnot. I think it's important, though, to remember that there's genuine human cost at this war, because even though we like to have fun with it, even though we like to go, haha, you know, shit's getting blown up, shit's getting traded, you know, Bibi Netanyahu is not the only dancing Israeli now, whatever, haha, we like to have our jokes, you know, obviously. This is ridiculous. No one wants to die for Israel. A lot of people, one guy made this point. It was, I'm going to find this clip, but there was a Marine who got ripped out of a courtroom because he started screaming. Admittedly, people are going, he has his freedom of speech and whatnot. He shouldn't have been doing it in the way that he was doing, because this was a testimony area where they were not taking public commentary. This, you should have reserved yourself for public commentary. The way that you did it was just purely, you know, it was for show, it was for whatever, but clearly it worked, because he ended up getting escorted out by security. The Marines, they grabbed, not the Marines, the security officers grabbed the Marine because he was shouting, no one wants to die for Israel and whatnot. They were dragging him out of the room, and he was literally grabbing on for dear life to like whatever he could in order to resist from getting pulled out. And his hand gets caught in the door at one point, and then you see his bone, I think, break. I think I at least can distinctly see the moment that his arm breaks when they're pulling him out of there and he's screaming, no one wants to die for Israel. Eventually, people start going, so-and-so broke a Marine's hand. Here, I'm just gonna get you the names here really quick so that I don't sound like an absolute buffoon. Broken arm. Yes, Marine broken arm. Marine vet protesting the Iran war appears to snap bone during a struggle with GOP senator. This is Senator Sheehy. It's not, no. It's not Sheehy as in like a he-she or nothing, but Sheehy. What a strange name. Anyways, Montana Senator Sheehy. Sehi. I have no idea how to fucking pronounce this. Montana Senator Tim Sheehy got into an altercation with an anti-war protester during a Senate Armed Services Subcommittee meeting that appears to have left the protester with a broken arm. In the video by CBS News' Alan He, 3 Capitol police officers are working to subdue and eject Brian McGinnis, a Marine Corps veteran and Green Party candidate for the U.S. Senate in North Carolina, who shouts, no one wants to fight for Israel. Sheehy is seen rushing to help subdue McGinnis, grabbing his lower leg as the Capitol Police attempt to carry him through the hearing door. McGinnis hooks one of his arms around the door frame. He moves to wrap an arm around McGinnis's shoulder to pry him away from the door. An audible snap is heard on the video, and it appears that either McGinnis's lower arm or wrist is broken. He reposted the video on his own social media account with the statement, Capitol Police were attempting to remove an unhinged protester from the armed services hearing. He was fighting back. I decided to help and de-escalate the situation. This gentleman came to the Capitol looking for confrontation, and he got one. I hope he gets the help that he needs without causing further violence. Is, solid response from the senator, because admittedly McGinnis, this Marine, while I agree with his point, he made it in a nutty way, which is just to stand up during a subcommittee meeting and start screaming your opinion. I understand. Some people think this is a valid way to get your opinion out and whatever. When you are not there for public commentary, when you're not there for that session, you're actively disrupting something. You are making a nuisance of yourself, and I'm sorry, I know this man's a Marine, but he did this poorly, and it ended up with a broken, snapped up arm. It sucks. I don't know what else to say except for maybe he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done that, but he did a great job of creating a situation where anybody who does, support this senator kind of looks like an asshole. And I'm not saying I support this senator at all, actually. I think that he doing his best to attempt to remove this guy as well wasn't maybe the best idea. Maybe don't get involved and just let the officers handle it. Isn't that the kind of smart thing to do instead of playing fake tough guy here? All right, let's look at this video. This is very curious. It's on X. Am I going to be able to watch this without ad blocker or any of this shit? Let's see this. Anyways, go, play this.
Ow! No one wants to fight for Israel! His hand!
Oh!
His hand!
Yeah, that looks like a snap, man. And he's sideways, dude. That is nutty. I'm putting this in the description if y'all want to see this shit. The senator did not break his hand. This dude got his own hand jammed into the door when he was getting pried out of the door. But pried literally through the doors. He was getting pried through the doors because he was interrupting a subcommittee hearing. This dumb shit. Sorry, he's a dumb shit. I don't care if you served in the military, you dumb shit. You made your own cause look stupid and you broke your own hand as a result. And I don't love the fact that this senator got involved. I don't love this. This is a messy situation for everybody. Everybody looks stupid here. I'm sorry. Every person in this interaction looks dumb. He's a Marine! Everybody's all nervous. Suddenly, people have respect for Marines. I'll put this in the description under Marine breaks hand. She's a shame. You are like robots. You all don't look. Shut up. They're doing a meeting, you losers. Knock it off, all right? I understand nobody wants to fight for Israel, but when you do this shit, when you like create a public nuisance rather than actually try to engage with your words, then you make your cause look silly. You make people... I'm sorry. This guy looks like he might have been an Israeli plant. I'm sorry. This is such a stupid, silly thing for him to do. As a Marine, I'd expect him to have a little more common sense. You know what I mean? Than to do this shit and to get himself into a certain situation. He seems mentally defective, quite frankly. I don't know, man, guys. This seems weird. It's just, like, weird to, like, see people who would, like, actively, like, make their cause look stupider, even though they're trying to... Apparently, he's like, I don't want people to die for Israel, but I'm gonna go look like a real fucking nut for some reason. I don't get it. Whatever. This girl, she's remembering her brother who was blown up, unfortunately. It sucks.
In 2 months.
He was gonna be 21 in 2 months.
I still don't fully think it's real. I didn't think it was real when they told us.
That sucks.
Because I just remember all of our conversations about what he was going to do when he came back. And so I'll just be sitting and thinking about it. And then I don't, it's really hard. I just really wish I got to tell him I love him one more time because he was just so amazing and he always in front of everybody just was like really strong. He never let his emotions really show. But I don't know. I can't help but think just he was my little brother and he was probably really scared even if he didn't want people to know. So I just wish he could have known one more time that we all loved him because he was so amazing and kind.
You seemed like a loving family. I'm sure he did know. Quite frankly. I'm just trying to be honest with you. This is sad. It's really sad. How am I going to pull this one out of the gutter? Maybe if we hop across the pond real quick and we get some back and forth from our favorite Monty Python country. I still think they're all faking this stupid accent. It's not real. It's legit. But when you hear someone like me talking, you're like, I don't think he's faking his accent. I don't think that he's trying to put on an affect. I don't think that he's trying to dress up his style or nothing. These people all sound so false, so fake, so phony, and if you're English, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that, like, this isn't real. Keir Stammer, he was like, I was not prepared to join war without a legal basis, and they're going, sorry, but the UK, whether or not you like it, is involved with this war because their bases are also being struck. Anyways, I'll put this in the description if you want to see it full whatever, if that's important to you, but otherwise, let's listen to this moment where Keir Stammer is, shellacked.
I was not prepared to do on Saturday was for the UK to join a war unless I was satisfied there was a lawful basis and a viable thought-through plan. That remains my position.
That wasn't the question I asked him. Nobody wants to see an escalation. The fact is, Mr. Speaker, our bases, in case they don't realize, our bases have already been attacked. Iran is trying to kill our servicemen and women. He is catching arrows rather than stopping the archer. That's what we're talking about.
I love that phraseology. He is catching arrows rather than stopping the archer. I like that. She's good.
Why is he asking our allies to do what we should be doing ourselves? I would say to Labour MPs, we are in this war whether they like it or not.
Nice.
What is the Prime Minister waiting for?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, let me give a little more detail because for a number of weeks now, we've been pre-deploying our capabilities to the region. In doing so, we've been liaising very closely with the United States, as the House would have expected. Therefore, radar systems were pre-deployed, ground-based air defence was pre-deployed, counter-drone systems were pre-deployed, and F-35 jets were pre-deployed. Mr. Speaker, that is why, since Saturday morning, multiple F-35s and Typhoons have been in operation not just in the Middle East, but across Cyprus. Further missions were flown overnight, Typhoons defending in particular Qatar, and F-35s defending other regional parties.
Is this where Americans got that dumb pronunciation of the country of Qatar? They're like, it's Qatar, the country of Qatar in the Middle East. Is that, they heard English people pronouncing it Qatar, and they, for some reason, were like, it's Qatar. I hate it. Yes, Iranian women, they're celebrating, apparently. And here's a thing from the Telegraph about it.
While Iranian women tear off their hijabs in the streets, defying a regime that has brutalized them for decades, why are Western feminists sitting on their hands? How have they allowed themselves to obsess over boardroom quotas, pay gaps, microaggressions, yet neglect the plight of women living under the oppressive Islamic regime? Iran's women footballers this week refused to sing their country's national anthem.
Here's the curious thing about it, is that Western feminists, they hear about the plight of the Iranian woman, and unfortunately, due to the fact that modern Western feminism is more often than not aligned with libertine values of respecting everybody's culture, and the odd globalist belief of everybody, for some reason, if you get down to it, is all the same person, and we are, whatever, culture doesn't really mean anything, and really a person is just a product of their environment or whatever. I understand there's many arguments to be made about all those sorts of things and whatnot, but when it comes to the fact that many Western women are not interested in calling out that culture is because they go, it's a culture. How am I supposed to call out the culture? It seems like all those women want to wear the hijabs. It's a culture. So technically, it would be xenophobic of me to try to get these women released. That is where Western feminists find it difficult to be able to call out it, because they believe it to be disrespectful of someone else's culture. They see the hijabs and they see the brown ladies that are making their coffee, and they ask, do you really like wearing that? And then the brown lady, while she's handing them their coffee, goes, actually, I do. Actually, my mother grew up wearing one. Her mother before her. We love wearing it. It's like it's embedded in these people's minds, okay? So you can't convince them not to like something that they like to wear.
An act of dissent broadcast to the world. Footage has emerged of motorcyclists riding through Tehran with banners declaring, "We can and we must overthrow the regime." These are not virtue signalling gestures performed from the safety of Western laptops, but dangerous acts of rebellion against a regime that imprisons and murders its critics. Domestically, our supposed social justice warriors ignore awkward questions around women's autonomy within tightly knit immigrant communities.
Yep, they're like, hey, tightly knit immigrant communities are allowed to treat women however they'd like, even in the United States. If those women are if women are literally like hoisted on horses and sold into marriages at the age of 14 while crying, you can't call that uncivilized culture. You're Hindophobic. You're Hindi-phobic. You don't like child marriages? You don't like... It's such a curious thing to watch people try to, harangue that thing in their mind, where they're like, well, they try to make sense of it. They go like, man, other cultures, every other culture, there's no such thing as uncivilized cultures. But some cultures have child marriage. But that goes against liberal values, that apparently there's no such thing as uncivilized cultures. Wait a minute, maybe that's not actually a liberal value. It's like watching people get a brain virus out of their head in like a movie. It's like they try to fight the second voice that's in their head kind of speaking the truth, and they go like, no, it can't be true. It can't be true that certain cultures are uncivilized. It can't be true. That's not right. No. You watch them fight it. It's like, Mason, give us the numbers. Give us the numbers, Mason, when they're torturing him in Call of Duty. And then he's like, I can't, it's deep in my memories. I can't find it. Anyways.
White male CEOs or professors instead. Female labour market participation goes ignored, even though the worklessness rate for those of Pakistani and Bangladeshi heritage is much higher than among white women. The progressive instinct to avoid cultural offence has trumped the need to defend women's autonomy. Now it's easier to rage at the corporate patriarchy and pretend it can be resolved with fatuous HR training and endless guilt-inducing seminars than admit we have amongst us hundreds of thousands of people from cultures that view women as second-class citizens.
Yep. And that's an uncomfortable truth that not many people want to address or register. They don't want to go, a lot of that Eastern world doesn't love women. Maybe actually the culture where we say white men are trash and whatnot, and that they actually just sit around and rape women all the time. Maybe actually the whiter cultures, maybe the European cultures actually are, maybe they're actually bastions of values where at least there's laws against rape, and there's not marry your rapist laws like there are in certain Eastern countries. It's a tough value for a lot of people to realize. It's a tough thing for a lot of people to realize that certain areas of the world just don't value their autonomy, but for some reason they want to vote to bring in massive numbers of people from those countries. They want more people from all over the world who don't value them as the same type of a person to come into the country, and eventually, if there's more of those people that live in your community that believe in Sharia law, this is something that actually people in the UK are beginning to contend with, and many people think, oh, you're crazy for imagining this could ever affect America. It's happening in the UK. Places are contending with the idea of Sharia law. Certain neighborhoods with the idea of mandating the coverings for women. This is not a joke. When they outnumber you, when a culture of people have moved into your country out in numbers that outweigh the amount of babies that your native population have, eventually you get to a point where there are so many outside people that they begin redefining your nation's laws. And if people go, great replacement theory, if people go, you're Islamophobic, you're having basic concerns about the redistribution of power because of immigration? Yes, I am actually. I'm having a basic conversation about the redistribution of power due to immigration. And why is this an uncomfortable talking point? Have you noticed that, like, if you're listening to this and, like, maybe you're a more liberal-minded person who hasn't been taught to question the idea of immigration affecting your voting power, maybe give it some thought. Because when people say things like, oh, they're coming to create more babies than you, they're coming to have more babies than white families, the numbers don't seem to suggest that that's a lie. Are you saying that the statistics are lying? People go, great replacement theory. Yeah, it's hardly a theory at this point. It's just sort of a thing that you look at and you go, it's supported by the numbers. They'll eventually outnumber white people in the United Kingdom. They're on track for it in the UK by 2060. So people want to go, oh, this is, no. The United Kingdom does not have a right to be inherently English. People will go, okay, does Egypt have a right to be Egyptian? Does the country of Niger have a right to be Nigerian? Does Chad have a right to be, Nigeria, have a right to be Nigerian? Or do the Sudanese have a right to be, the Sudanese? Absolutely they do. Do Ukrainian people have a right to their own homeland? Absolutely they do. But for some reason, when you have the conversation around the idea of white people, the idea of white people or countries founded under white policy, for some odd reason, you have the conversation of immigration affecting them. Oh man, that's an untouchable. That's one that you can't touch with a 10-foot pole. Otherwise, people will call you a white supremacist. People will go, Nazi! People will go, you want to kill the immigrants? No. I want to have an honest, open conversation, and I'm tired of people throwing out, you're this, you're that, shut up, stop talking about this, stop talking about the idea that people might vote for Sharia law one day. And if you don't know what Sharia law is, are you equipped to have this conversation? I don't. You might as well just turn it off. It's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next story. My blood is heated. I'm angry a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I'm so sick of uninformed people defining the conversation. I'm so sick of people who are not willing to accept facts that are out there that they just go, well, I haven't read that, so it must not be happening. It's a fun group of people to contend with. But ladies and gentlemen, let's cover our next story. I'm angry, so let's cool it down with a story that actually has nothing to do with anything serious. It's about burgers, so let's fucking do it. Go. In the Goy realm, burger war. There's a burger war among fast food CEOs. It's erupting on social media. This is the stupidest thing I've ever maybe covered on the entirety of this show's history. This is not a joke. This is not an exaggeration. A fast food world war is heating up, not in the kitchen, but on social media, where lighthearted but spicy burger war has broken out amongst top executives of fast food chains. It all kicked off when the McDonald's CEO, Chris Kempczynski, I don't like that last name, posted a video of himself trying the chain's new premium burger. The Big Arch. This looks vile. Look how many sesame seeds are on this thing. That looks disgusting. This massive sandwich packs 2 quarter-pounder patties, extra cheese, crispy onions, and special sauce. In the clip, Kempczynski calls it a delicious product and takes what many viewers described as a tiny bite, hesitant at first, and appears a bit uneasy. Social media users quickly roasted him, questioning if he even enjoys the menu items. Rivals wasted no time jumping into the fray. Burger King's U.S. President Tom Curtis fired back with his own video, enthusiastically chomping down on the signature Whopper, taking a big, messy bite, contrasting sharply with the McDonald's clip. Burger King's official account even shaded the original video online with one popular reply saying, couldn't finish it either. The back and forth has turned viral fast. This is dumb. Then Wendy's got in on the action. Wendy's is, by the way, better than all of the other options. I understand people will go, Jack in the Box, Five Guys, or what's it called? Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, the line's always too long, and I don't like the fact that you all have Mormons working there. Mormons freak me out. And I know they're not all Mormon, but they act it. They act it and they behave it, and I don't like it. I don't like the forced positive nature of it. It's uncomfortable for me. Peter Serkin shared footage of himself devouring a Baconator. So if you want my take on this, this is a battle of this is like gun companies, CEOs showing you how to spit shine the barrel of your Glock 30. You know what I mean? These are people that are going, here's a video of me looking like I'm killing myself, but I'm actually like, I can shove the gun all the way down my throat. This is like, they're trying to have a competition as to who can stick the gun further and then pull the trigger. And then some of them are even like, the bullet touched the back of my mouth, but thankfully enough, it just slid down the chamber. You know, the people there, it didn't actually, the hammer didn't touch it, so it didn't blow, but the bullet just slid down the actual chamber of the gun, and then I had a bullet in my neck. So people, this is them trying to show you that they kill themselves just like you. You eat their slop, you kill yourself every day. So let's show our CEOs engaging in this self-destructive, disgusting behavior.
All right, the moment of truth.
Look at that pig.
One small bite for
that disgusting, slovenly... Let's roll this clip back. He looks like he just got off of church. He looks like Howdy Doody. This man is absolutely vile, disgusting. He's got this little rat face with these... I hate his tiny ears. He bothers me. You youth minister, pedophile-looking motherfucker. I'm gonna say it. He looks like a pedophile. He looks like a pedophile.
Big bite for a big arch. One giant controversy for the internet. In the past few weeks, social media...
My guy looks like he doesn't have enough adrenochrome. You look like you slaughter children. You look like you belong in the files, my guy.
He has been having a whole Big Mac's worth of fun with this video of McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczinski as he tries to demonstrate his love of the fast food chain's new Big Arch Burger.
He's a blue-eyed weirdo also, can we mention this? I'm a brown-eyed supremacist. I've always said it. I always say it on the show. Blue-eyed people freak me out. They don't look right. I'm sorry. And if they have one of those, like, grayer blue eyes where they just, like, they look at you like Erica Kirk, it bugs me out. I don't like them. I don't like him, quite frankly. And he's a blue-eyed weirdo. And when he stares into the camera and he unhinges his snake-like jaw just to take the smallest bite of this burger, I don't understand the level of rage this man... I have to take a hit. This man is getting me actually so angry. My blood is boiling. I'm actually upset right now. Continue.
As you can see, he does not exactly take the biggest bite. One commenter even shared a screen grab from this SpongeBob scene where Squidward cautiously tries a Krabby Patty for the first time. Meanwhile, another commenter wrote, somebody said he was eating that burger like he was a contestant on Fear Factor. Love this product. It is so good.
This product.
He also refers to the burger as a quote-unquote product multiple times, which commenters also poked fun at for sounding so businesslike.
What a geek.
In fact, McDonald's is now also having fun with this attention, sharing a photo to X and saying, take a bite of our new product. But did we think the other burger companies would really sit this out? On Monday, Burger King CEO Tom Curtis rolled up his sleeves and got in the kitchen, albeit protected by an apron. Come down to our kitchen here at Wendy's. And then on Wednesday, what do you know? Wendy's U.S. President Pete Serkin suddenly had a hankering for a Baconator. Absolutely wonderful. And he took not one, not two, not three, but 4 bites before washing it down with their signature Frosty. One commenter writing, my goodness, move aside cola wars of the 80s and 70s. The burger wars of the 2020s are here.
The cola wars... Who remembers the cola wars? Nobody does. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else to say. I'm not invested. It's not funny. You know what I mean? I'm not sold. You're not going to get me to eat children, aborted fetuses. You're not going to get me to go back to McDonald's anytime soon. It's goy slop. I'm eating my own human beings. I would get the chicken sandwich every single time. Is it the McChicken or the chicken sandwich? I don't remember what it is. But I would get the McChicken, I think. Yeah, the McChicken with like the lettuce and the mayonnaise on it. I forget. That, I doubt that there's very much human in it. I have no way of knowing. But hopefully, if we all avoid it together, maybe they'll cut it to like less than 3% human meat. That would be ideal. Less than 3%. That's a good number to shoot for. The burger battle, classic fast food marketing in the social media age. No one cares. It's got a lot of engagement, plenty of free buzz for everybody's menus. Whatever. You know what, people? If you want to go eat children meat or never frozen beef from Wendy's, go do it. I encourage it because it's your right as an American. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we should jump into the rapid fire section of today's headlines. Lots of stuff that you got to know about in order to keep your media diet healthy that we can't dedicate a ton of time to, like 3 to 5 paragraphs, so we're just going to run through a bunch of shit. Bali police confirm they found the remains of a Ukrainian tourist, Igor Kamorov. Igor, son of wealthy Ukrainian businessman, alleged scammer, was kidnapped in February after his girlfriend posted a Valentine's Day photo of the couple that may have inadvertently revealed his location. The video footage posted to Telegram appeared to show Kamorov with visible injuries, pleading for his father to pay someone $10 million for his abduction. The severed head belonging to him has washed up on a Bali beach. Let's look at this clip. Very, very fun. I mean, not for him.
Ukrainian tourists have washed up on a beach in Bali. Bali police confirmed the remains to be those of 28-year-old Igor Kamorov, the son of a wealthy Ukrainian businessman and alleged scammer. He was kidnapped on February 15th after his girlfriend, who he was traveling with, posted a Valentine's Day photo that may have inadvertently revealed his location. Igor later appeared in a video on Telegram with visible injuries, begging his father to pay his abductors $10 million.
I will return everything to all those people from whom you've taken. I will give everything back to everyone. We're guilty and me. They already chopped off some of my limbs. That's crazy, man. That is crazy, crazy, crazy. Ooh, JB Pritzker denies traveling with Epstein after Bill Clinton's testimony. Can you imagine if J.B. Pritzker thinks this is going to save his chances at becoming president? I know he's been on the trail for it for a while, where a lot of people are going, is he gonna throw his hat in the ring? Is he gonna go get on Ozempic for a while? Is he gonna try to slim up his image or whatever? But I think Fatso's sitting this one out because, quite frankly, this just doesn't have it. You know how somebody's got to be slick, they got to be sly. He is sluggish. He's gross.
People who work with me, especially people who were out to follow up on the fundraising, or people who were involved in my age work. For example, I think it was on one of these trips, I think, that I had my first trip for the man who's now the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, and his wife. They helped me get started.
What?
First of all, President Clinton clearly was mistaken, and he corrected the mistake, to his credit. And no, I had never met Jeffrey Epstein. I was never on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. I was never on any plane with Jeffrey Epstein or with Ghislaine Maxwell. Never met her. But you know who did? You know who palled around with both of them? Donald Trump.
Donald Trump did. Every Democrat that can't defend their own actions or for some reason needs to pivot always pivots back to Donald Trump. It's so old school. It's as though, no Democrat has had that kind of pull with the Republicans since Obama. And maybe Biden a teensy bit with the Let's Go Brandon campaign and all that shit. But admittedly, Obama is probably the last example where just everything he did, no matter what, they would slander him for. They would give him shit for it, even if it was just upholding policy that we've been upholding for years with Israel, all these sorts of whatever. Anyways.
What aircraft was used on those trips in 2008?
I don't know. I mean, in 2008, it was actually a donated aircraft, as I recall, from Google. There were about 25 people on the aircraft, and they were all political types and people.
Good for him. I mean, whatever. Kansas has invalidated the licenses of upwards of 1,700 transgender residents. Kansas drivers and residents with their licenses, people who are of transgender, identity, they have a new law that has required them to revert their sex to the one that was assigned at birth. Is it something where we should be allowing people to put whatever they want on government ID? I'm not sure, you know what I mean? When it comes to all of the self-identifying markers, some people are saying like you should be allowed to put X or whatever. It's weird. I don't think that's not an angle that we want to go down as a country, quite frankly, to make things even more confusing.
Kansas has invalidated the driver's licenses of 1,700 transgender residents after a new law required them to revert to their sex assigned at birth.
Get a new license.
From the driver's license bureau saying my license is invalid. I received my letter from the Kansas government saying that I need to change my driver's license back to male because that's what I look like, right?
Unfortunately, in your case, yes, I'm sorry, but in your case, you didn't do the best job going all the way over the fence, if you know what I mean. 'Cause, like, sometimes you don't do that. Sometimes you do see these people where they swing a leg over the fence and they don't do a full good job, but they still call it where they're like, I'm a woman now, or I'm a man now, and you're like, at a glance, I think anybody would be questioning you. You know what I mean?
Passed on February 26 bars any sex marker on a driver's license other than the one assigned at birth. As a result, existing licenses that listed a different gender identity were automatically invalidated. Transgender Kansans received letters informing them that their licenses were no longer valid and that they would need to apply for new ones.
I drive 25 miles to work. I cannot drive 25 miles without a driver's license.
Day off.
If I get pulled over without a license, I go to men's prison, and I can't fucking do that.
You're not going to men's prison for getting pulled over for driving without a suspended license. Is that you're not going to men's prison? Excuse you. You're going to men's jail. That's correct yourself.
So tomorrow morning, I have to take off work. I have to spend my own money, my own time, and replace the license.
Don't worry, you're good. You'll figure it out.
House substitute for Senate Bill 244 took effect immediately. That meant affected residents were suddenly left with invalid identification. Driving with an invalid license could result in a $1,000 fine and up to 6 months in jail. The law also tightens restrictions on public restroom use, limiting access to facilities that correspond with a person's sex assigned at birth. It allows private citizens to sue transgender individuals for violations with fines of up to $1,000. It also invalidates birth certificates that had previously been amended to reflect a gender change, potentially affecting around 1,800 people. Additional letters may be sent out. The two transgender men have filed a lawsuit against the state of Kansas, calling the measure dehumanizing. They argue it violates rights to privacy, personal autonomy, and due process under the Kansas Constitution. At least 8 other states do not allow transgender people to update one or both documents, but Kansas is the only state to retroactively invalidate documents that had already been legally changed.
Oy, oy, oy. Not fun. Not fun at all. Let's do another one, why don't we? Authorities in Pennsylvania are warning that a young teen has suffered serious burns after, quote, the breathing fire challenge. I grew up in the 2010s. I remember a lot of distinct challenges. I remember growing up with kids that would collapse their lungs when they would do the cinnamon challenge. That was a serious thing. That's something that kids could do. I remember kids doing the Tide Pod challenge. I remember all this jazz. And the weird thing was, only like 5 kids did it most of the time. And then everybody would go, oh my God, my kid is doing it. I gotta lock shit up. This is, whenever people go, viral challenge has taken a life or whatever, know that this viral challenge is most likely something that this kid either saw a video about online and like misinterpreted, and like, because one kid, he like injected crushed up butterfly or something, and then that was supposed to give him a high, but he just died. That's okay. So this is what I mean, is that like it's something where the media will grab it and they'll say this is a viral challenge. It's an example of maybe 5 or 6 at the very most, and it's not an epidemic of children or people being influenced. I'll just play a brief instance from this.
This morning, a new warning about another dangerous challenge going viral on social media. This time, the so-called fire-breathing challenge.
We are not meant to breathe fire as human beings.
Authorities in Western Pennsylvania say a teenager is lucky to be alive after trying to breathe fire with isopropyl alcohol. The teen is now in the hospital, intubated, with serious burns.
Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Whatever. Why would Justin Timberlake try to sue to prevent his body cam footage from being released? This is ridiculous. I heard about this situation, and I watched his press conference. We watched it on the show, actually, together, and I gave my opinion that I think that Justin Timberlake is genuinely sorry. I still want to see his body cam footage, and him giving that statement about, I usually hold myself up to the best standard, but this was not that. I was not that convinced that he felt all too terrible. I thought another sling of public shaming after the body cam footage released would be great and would be good for him. Sadly, though, it sounds like he's trying to prevent us all from seeing it.
Even if you've had one drink, don't get behind the wheel of a car.
The JT saga continues.
Try to hold myself to a very high standard for myself. And this was not that.
Justin Timberlake is suing to prevent the release of the body cam footage from his drunk driving arrest. Remember the one that happened in the Hamptons in 2024? His lawyers filed a lawsuit Monday arguing that the release of the video would cause, and quote, severe and irreparable harm to his reputation by subjecting him to public ridicule and harassment.
Well, yeah.
Now, JT pleaded guilty to impaired driving and entered a plea deal that knocked his charge down to a non-criminal traffic violation. In exchange, the pop star agreed to give a public safety announcement against drunk driving. He had to pay a $500 fine, do 25 hours of community service, and
that's not
have
bad.
his license suspended for 90 days. Usually, the state's public records law requires the release of body cam footage, so we'll keep you posted. We'll see what happens.
Oy, oy, oy. Very sad. We're going to cover one more headline, why don't we? And then, actually, it's been an hour, so I might as well just, we'll have a third story next time for you guys. It's been such a good time. We'll just give you this final headline, and then I'll release you to whatever it is you do for the rest of your Thursday. Britney Spears is arrested in California. Why? No!
Britney Spears is facing a DUI charge after being arrested and released in Ventura County, California overnight.
I'm sorry to say it, guys. Give her back to her dad. Lock her up. I don't trust her anymore. Her eyes are nuts.
To say they pulled Spears over around 9:30 last night. Records show the sheriff's department booked her into jail around 3 a.m. and released
I didn't know she was allowed to drive.
her a few hours later. The singer's set to go to court in May.
In May. Thank you, Brittany. I love you, Brittany. You're free now, and then you immediately get yourself locked right back up. Sorry, guys. I think she needs her dad to keep her in line, quite frankly. She's a bit of a nut, and ladies and gentlemen, so are you too, and so am I. We are all nuts. We're all fun, and we're all going to have a good time on our Friday broadcast tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you're there for it. Subscribe if you want more for the rest of the week. We're going to be back at it next week, Monday through Friday. We do what we do. Cover the latest headlines, and hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed putting together it for you. I can't wait for tomorrow. In the meantime, this has been Ollie Vogt Larson with your Brand on Air. Thank you so very much for listening. I'll see you tomorrow, and bye-bye.